Maleficent is a 2014 Disney film which is directed by Robert Stromberg. Now, as most of us probably remember and know, this is based off of the evil villainess from the Sleeping Beauty fairy tale that we've grown up with. So this is just yet another one of Hollywood taking a classic fairy tale that we know and trying to modernize it, or maybe just trying to add more story into it, do something different with it, and seeing what we think of it. Now let's see if this one was successful. The plot is we see Maleficent, and you see that she lived in this land of fairies. She's a fairy herself. She had these wings, and she was a nice person. Imagine that. Until she met this human that wandered into her area named Stefan. The two of them fell in love because they were kind of the only two that interacted with each other. They've grown up together. The king of Stefan's land, he kind of just upped and said one day, I want her dead. I want her killed. And whoever will do this will become the king after me. So what does Stefan do? He uses his relationship with Maleficent and he tricks her into cutting off her wings. He becomes the king. So now Maleficent wants revenge. So what does she do? She casts a spell, a curse, on his daughter, Aurora. Now what I thought of this film was, I liked it. I did. I didn't love it, but I appreciated what they were doing. I appreciate getting some backstory on this character, putting a lot more depth into her, because I admit it's been a while since I've watched Sleeping Beauty, a very long time. But from what I remember, there wasn't a whole lot to her character or just the whole story. It was just a straightforward, simple, alright, the princess is in trouble, the prince has to come in, kiss her, and they stop the evil lady, and they live happily ever after. This movie puts a lot more character into Maleficent especially, where you just feel bad for her. You're like, wow, she got screwed, and screwed bad. I mean, she took a chance on a human, because genuinely you're not supposed to trust humans with good reason. And what was done to her, and it's just you understood why she did the things that she did. She never really became evil. She just did this one thing out of spite, out of wanting revenge. And there even came a point where, because the king is so enraged by the spell, he casts away his daughter to be raised by these three fairies until she's 16, until the curse is supposed to take effect. And I'm not really sure why Maleficent watches over the princess. I assume it's just to make sure things go according to her plan. But while she's watching over her, she becomes fond of her. Like, maybe there's something to this little girl, some humanity. Maybe not all humans are evil, and she starts to appreciate the girl, become motherly to her. And that aspect of this movie I really liked and surprised me, and I was interested to see where it went. I will admit that pretty much every other character was either less interesting or not a whole lot to them. Like, I thought the three fairies were a little annoying. They were trying to be goofy and funny, and maybe this is intended for a younger audience, because the beginning definitely felt that way. But when Maleficent grew older and everything happened to her, it seemed like it became a lot darker with her story. So it's hard to say exactly who this movie is played to, but other characters like Stefan, played by Sharlto Copley, I like him as an actor. He too, though, was a little bit too one-dimensional. I mean, at the beginning he was layered because he was conflicted on his love for her but wanting to be the king. So I like that aspect to him, but then once he got older and sort of drunk with power, I guess it's the power that just turns him into a one-track, I'm this type of guy and I'm an asshole. Princess Aurora, who was played by Elle Fanning, I liked her. Sure, again, there wasn't a whole lot to her, but Sleeping Beauty, was there a whole lot to her as a character? No, she's just the nice girl who this happens to and has to be saved. You at least saw her affection for Maleficent not realizing who she really is and what she's done to her. I like their relationship, their connection, how she was bringing back that humanity to Maleficent. And I also like Maleficent's partner in crime, you could say. It was a crow that she turned into a human, and then she could make shapeshift into any animal that she wanted, either a werewolf or at some point a dragon. I thought that was cool. And the effects of the movie, wow, it looked amazing. A lot of CGI was put into this movie. And yeah, maybe at some points it's a little too much CGI, but then again, you're like, well, how else would you have done such a fantastical setting? My favorite thing about this film, though, had to be Angelina Jolie. She was great in the movie. And it's almost like I didn't realize it until I heard that she hasn't done a movie in over 4 years. Wow, where has the time gone? I didn't realize it's been that long since I've seen her in the movie. But watching her in here, it made me stop and go, wow, I've kind of missed her in movies. She's such a good actress. And I liked how she poured herself into this character, not only in her acting, but the way she looked. She looked great as this character. Like the moment where she dons the black dress and the costume for the first time, she looks great. And when she's using her green magic powers, it brought me back to the Disney story and made me go, wow, this is really live action. This is it. So all in all, I did end up enjoying this movie. Could it have been better, or could there have been a little bit more depth into the other characters? Yeah, that would have been appreciated. But it was Maleficent's story. It was all about her, and I do feel like I got a lot from her character and grew to like her, appreciate her on such a different level. My rating for this film, I'm going to give it a matinee. A matinee to definitely check out in the theater. This movie's been out for a little while, so I'd love to hear your comments below on what you thought of Maleficent if you saw it. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Later!